Okay, here's two more examples. This one's a little different. We don't have anything that are fourth powers. So what I'm going to do is try to make this into squared powers. And if you'll remember back in Algebra 2, if you had something like x to the fourth minus y to the fourth, that's the difference of two squares. You could make that x squared plus y squared and x squared minus y squared, because it's the difference of two squares. And then that would also go to x plus 1 or x plus y and x minus y. So I'm going to simplify this by factoring it. I'm going to make it secant squared x minus tangent squared x and secant squared x plus tangent squared x. And then I'm going to go look at my Pythagorean identities and see if there's anything that relates a secant squared and a tangent squared. And there is. 1 plus tangent squared equals secant squared. So I'm going to work on getting these on the same side of the equal sign. So 1 equals secant squared minus tangent squared. And that's exactly what I have right here. So I'm going to substitute a 1 in that place. So I get 1 equals secant squared plus tangent squared. So that would be my answer. The reason why is because I can never get this with the tangent squared and the secant squared on the same side and have an addition sign. It'd always be a 1 minus. Okay, here's another one. Cotangent x, that's the same thing as cosine x over sine x. Secant is the same thing as 1 over cosine. So the cosines are going to cancel, and I'm left with 1 over sine. And 1 over sine is the same thing as cosecant. Okay, let's do one more on this video. Secant squared minus 1. Well, there is a Pythagorean identity that says that 1 plus tangent squared equals secant squared. So if I move the 1 over here, I would have tangent squared equals secant squared minus 1. So secant squared minus 1 is the same thing as tangent squared. So I'm going to put a tangent squared where that is. And now I'm going to split this up. This is the same thing as having sine squared x over cosine squared x over sine squared x. So then this is over 1, so I can flip it and multiply it by its reciprocal. So now the sine squared and the sine squared will cancel. So I'm left with 1 over cosine squared x, which is secant squared x.